Hey, so this is a breakdown of my D&D setup when I DM. Wanted to do this to kind of like break down how I have my DM screen set up, what I have up on my computer, and everything like that. So yeah, let's get started and roll through real quick. So this is my information sheet. This is a list of names if I need to come up with a name off the top of my head. And then 2 sheets of just a reminder of what are different conditions. This is really helpful to have in a battle scene. And I will say that like the information sheet is really useful if I need to keep track of where my players are, as far as what month, week, and day they're in currently. Also, just a friendly reminder to myself to describe the terrain and what they're saying. It says describe terrain and senses, sight, smells, feel, weather, sounds of environment, just to kind of make it more immersive. Always good to remind yourself to do that, because just because you know what it looks like doesn't mean your players do until you tell them. So I always have that reminder up to describe that. Things like the 3 moons of this world, just in case they're looking up at the night sky and I need to describe that, or they run into werewolves, that kind of thing. Just a useful thing to have around. And then this is just my dice. I keep my dice there in case I need to roll for damage, that kind of thing. Just useful to have. I don't like using D&D Beyond dice. I like using my own physical dice. All right, so first off, I store a lot of my stuff on my Google Drive. So, for instance, here I'll have information for the first campaign, second campaign, stuff for lore, all my maps, and then I have folders set up for each of my countries. So, for instance, Kalea, I've got all the maps that I'll use in that. For Abani, I've got all the city maps, dungeon maps, that kind of thing, in this folder. Lore, I have stuff like magic items that I've homebrewed, monster lists, things the players have. I find it useful to keep track of what magic items my players have. Random lore stuff. So all of this is like really easy to access and available to me on here. Any tokens that I need for battles, that kind of thing. So for instance, first campaign, I organize it in my head into chapters. Some people might call them arcs, so on and so forth. That way, if I need to look back at information that the players have already had, character quests like their backstory and stuff like that, and path a party is something that I keep track of. So within each of the arcs, I keep track of what exactly they did in those areas, like what paths they've chosen, that kind of stuff. So chapter 1, bam, bam. Chapter 3. Just keeping track of what the players do. The other things I have up almost always is my... this is a file called All Shops Combined Printer Friendly. I can't remember where I got this, but somebody compiled all of the shops and the prices of different things that those shops might have, which is really cool. Just for like, if they want to go in and buy stuff spontaneously, I can pull that up really quick. Speaking of which, the other thing that I have is I have a file with my homebrew world where I've got everything organized by country and city. So let's say they're in Rudin City in Rudin. I've got a little bit of information just basically about the general city itself, notable characters, shops and taverns. I keep a list here, and then I can refer back to that whenever I wish, as well as any quests that they may run into in that city. Some of them have, for instance, Teluketh. Let me go down to Bartuk. Okay, so for instance, certain shops, I will even put a list of any special stuff that they might have or be able to buy. So for instance, Belton's Bountiful Bewitchments magic shop, you can buy spell scrolls there, 6th level and down. That's how much the prices are. And then any other items. And for instance, Robe of Useful Items, this is what it has in it. That kind of thing. So sometimes I'll just say, for instance, armor +1s, armor +2s, weapons +1s, +2s, and then the special stuff there. If it is a city that, for instance, does not sell magic items or special magic items, I won't put the item list below. I'll just refer back to this again. But yeah, I find this really helpful in organizing when they're traveling. I also have a random encounter table. So if they get on a boat, I've got a couple naval encounters they can go through, traveling encounters, and I can roll a D20. I have them roll the D20 to figure out which one they're going to run into. And then once I have them run into it, I cross it out so that I don't do duplicates. Have them run into the same thing. Desert encounters, other desert encounters. I may have specific area ones, for instance, wild magic area and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I keep all my encounters ideas here for them to run into. Backstory quests, I always try to keep track of where the characters are in their backstory. This is an example of Path of Party, where I make notes on what my players are doing, any letters they write that may need a response back, I put into here, the choices they make. If I have a big scene where they are going to be talking to the boss, or the boss is going to send them a message or appear to them in a vision, I may write out just some ideas of a general what the boss is going to say and put them in Path of Party so that I remember what he told the players or said to the players. Any visions that they may run across, I put them in Path of Party just to keep a record so that I'm not forgetting stuff. And then, of course, as well, I've got this pulled up at all times so that I can refer back to that. If I need to, for instance, if they're asking how something works as far as like a smite, I can look up their information real quick. Searing Smite, I can check that out and read the rules along with them, that kind of thing. It's just really helpful for doing that. And then D&D Beyond to look up, if they're like, how does this spell work? I can look it up here, or I can go to monsters and use that. Speaking of monsters, this is how I organize my battle sheet. So I've got just the basic information over here, and then I pull it in and I do my initiative order right here. I keep track generally of what my players' ACs and HPs are. You can also do this on another tablet, which is what I usually do. I usually pull up this on an iPad, so I don't usually use AC and HP here. I'll look it up on the other thing. And then, for instance, if they're running into an encounter where they're fighting a group of monsters, I'll just pull, for instance, let's say they're fighting a boneless, a blackguard, and a mind witness. I'll just copy paste those over here, roll my initiatives, and then I've got really quick references for AC, what their HP is, and during the battle, for instance, let's say his HP is 46, 80, and 125. As the players deal damage, I'll add it up and put it there. So I know when this guy gets to 46, this one's dead, and I just delete him. And then I can keep the initiative. So let's say this one is initiative 16. Oh, not 123. And 12. Once I sort this into initiative order, and you do that just by going sort range, Z to A, column H, sort, bam. And then it'll put them in initiative order. I will then usually take these and put them where they would be in the initiative order. So 12 would be between these two. And then 16, depending on whether they have higher or lower AC, bam. That way I can keep track of the initiative order, the HP, and their AC. Really quick reference. And then if I need to look at specific things, I'll pull them up there. The other thing I can do is I can pull up, if I have homebrew monsters, I can pull up their sheets right here. And I'll just have that in the background too. If I know they're going to be in a fight or there's a possibility of a fight, I'll keep those minimized and just pull them up for reference as I do that. So yeah, that's a little bit about how I do my setup during D&D. Pretty cool. All right. Thanks. Bye.